You're watching Homebrew, hosted by Big Secu at secu.com.
I want your clothes, your boots, and your motorcycle. Yeah, that was rubbish. Let's start the show. Happy Homebrew Wednesday, guys. So this week I am out walking the dog. There she is, that's Kim, my Rottweiler Labrador cross. And I've got some bad news. Bad news bears. You know that baked bean thing I've been working on? Well, I just did the final video for it at the weekend, as I said I would. And I went to edit it last night to try and put it all together. Turns out I've lost all the footage other than the tasting video. So I'm well sick, and not just because of the tasting video. I wasn't actually sick, but that wasn't pleasant. Sorry about that. My apologies. I was looking forward to releasing the baked bean video. I know everyone was looking forward to that. You could get to see me taste it. How about that? Let's check it out. Boom. Right, so it's now a good few weeks later. I've been putting this off for as long as I can, for obvious reasons. But today's the day. The video needs to be finished. It means I need to taste this bullshit. Oh yeah. Now, I tried to carb it, but it didn't really carb, for whatever reason. I even put some sugar in after I put in the ketchup, and it still hasn't carb. But it's chilled at least. Right, so let's do this. No carb on it. Normally, I would of course take a sniff from the lid of the bottle. I'm going to refrain from doing that on this occasion, however, because I'm only going to get one shot at this. Oh man, this is absolutely shudder-worthy. Right. Now, it's not a beer, obviously. Well, obviously. It's not a beer and it's not a wine. What the hell is it? I don't know. It's a baked bean brew. Let's call it a wine. We'll go with wine. It looks more like a wine. Let's call it a Branston's Chardonnay. Pinot Grigio, anyone? Branston's Chardonnay. I'm going to get a nose on this, and I'm going to try and keep my dinner down. I just had a mixed grill. It's damn tasty. Hope it stays down. I'm going in. Okay, this is going to sound weird, but that doesn't smell anywhere near as bad as I was expecting it to. It smells far less beany than I thought it would. Far less beany. When I bottled this, it was bean-tastic, baby. Okay. I'm still not looking forward to trying it, obviously. Right. Just gonna have a taste. I'm gonna be professional about this. Here's mud in your eye. Things I do for this channel, eh? Okay. Well, a quick nose. Well, it doesn't taste hugely of baked beans, but it does have a lot of citric acid in it for some reason. I didn't add any citric acid. I suppose one component or another of the baked beans or the ketchup must have had that. There's a lot of saltiness to it, zingy tartness about it. I'm not going to take another drink of that for obvious reasons, but if I had to estimate, I think it's probably in the region of about 5% alcohol. No, I'm definitely not taking another drink of that. If you were in prison and the only thing you had to make alcohol with was beans, I suppose you could get used to it. If you really, really wanted a drink of alcohol. Bloody Nora. Right, well, I've done it. I've brewed with baked beans. Don't do it. It's horrible. There. I'm going to go and toothbrush my tongue now. See you next time. Anyway, as you can see, that was thoroughly disgusting. I just need to take my word for it that I did brew that, and it was horrible. I can still taste it right now. Even when I'm thinking about it, I can taste it. Yeah. Anyway, on a lighter note, did my batch of all grain at the weekend. Took me a little while, obviously, because regardless of how much all grain beer you're still doing the same time scales. An hour mash, an hour boil, etc. Let's have a look at that. Just new. Right, so there we go. That's the all grain batch I did at the weekend. Now, as it turns out, I only had 723 grams of pale ale malt. So I used amber as well. I had 500 grams of that. It was quite old though, I'm not entirely sure how much fermentable sugar I got out of that. But it fermented out in 24 hours. And the OG reading went from, I think it was 104.2 to 102.2 or something like that. But it came out at 2.6%, and that just wasn't good enough. So, I mean, it tasted nice, but it was only 2.6%. So I shoved some sugar into it, so it's no longer all grain. I put in some table sugar, and I put in a lot more hops. I actually boiled in 10 grams of Nugget and 10 grams of Pride of Ringwood on a 60-minute boil. I just shoved them in at the start. So it came out fairly bitter. Tasting pretty good though, but just not strong enough. So while I was throwing in sugar, I don't even know how much I put in, I thought, bollocks, I'll just shove some hops in as well. So I've shoved in some Cascade, and now, as you'll see here, we've got a layer of sediment at the bottom, and there's a layer of hops as well, and there's still some up there that are going to be sinking down. So when all said and done, I'll probably have sediment and hops up to about there, which gives me that in beer. But it should be damn tasty. So there you are. It's not an all grain brew anymore, is it? It's a bastardised brew. This is quite a busy little place, to be honest. It's not usually this busy. Circus is in town though. They're set up over there. That's the circus. The Moscow State Circus, no way. Although I strongly suspect many of them have never been to Moscow, nor speak with a Russian accent. So at the weekend, I tried out Dave Lucas the Welsh brewer's Dark Hogget Ale. It's very tasty. Let's have a quick butcher's that ale review, or drinking. I don't really do reviews. It's all good, isn't it? I never met a beer I didn't like, said my dad. I'm a similar bloke, me. Hello, right. It's time to do a beer mail from Dave Lucas the Welsh brewer. This is Dave's Dark Hogget Ale. And before I begin, I'd just like to confirm to Andy's pet that I am only wearing a t-shirt and socks at this point. There's no pants involved. Simon Le Bon. Right, listen to the hiss. Oh, that's a good hiss. Oh, she's coming up. She's coming whether you like it or not. So this is the Dark Hogget at 5% ABV. And there we go. In the Dundee Beer Festival glass, the Dark Hogget. Indeedy do. Hello, this is my beer, the Welsh brewer. That's me, Dave, and this is my beer, the Dark Hogget. That's not really how he talks. Yeah, it's a bit gruffer than that. Slightly more manly. Slightly. Right, let's try this. It smells a bit like one of my stouts actually. It does smell stouty. Thank you, Dave. I shall enjoy this immensely, I'm sure. Well, it's got a stouty flavour about it, but not quite. More of a porter, maybe, or loads of flavour. Kind of roasty, malty flavours rather than hoppy, but then hey, that's the style. Nice dark on the back of the tongue. I'm going to go out on a limb here and say this is either a kit brew or an extract brew. Not entirely sure. It tastes like a stout that I've done, and I made it with extract, or kits rather, so. It tastes a bit like Swig and Pig stout, which is good stuff. Named for Swig and Pig, who sent me those immersion heaters. They'll be useful in the winter. Well, thank you, Dave, that's good beer. Thank you, Dave, that's really good beer, mate. I look forward to trying more of your beer mails that I still have in the loft. Boom. So I had planned on going home tonight after work and bottling up the brew that I put the Rewalker and Nelson Sauvin NZ hops that I got from Grant Baker. I was planning on bottling that tonight, but Mrs. Secu has decided she wants to defrost the freezer, which is just absolutely riveting, obviously. If that's what she wants to do, then I suppose it needs done. So I can't do that, and I'm thinking about actually some experiments that I can do, but more along the lines of experiments I'm going to want to drink. Nice experiments, not baked beans or carrot juice or shit like that, prune juice, etc. So I'm thinking, I've got an absolute mountain of beer kits in my loft. I have a plethora of both kits and hops. I've got a fucking mountain of hops of various kinds and lots of kits. So I thought to myself, let's do an experiment. So I was thinking about taking a 1.5 kilogram kit and doing it as a single gallon brew and seeing what comes out. I probably need a fairly high attenuation yeast for that. Any suggestions on what yeast I should use? Obviously, bearing in mind I'm not going to spend lots and lots of money on it. Unfortunately, I probably could have used that California M44 yeast that I got from Greg in no, he's not in Canada. He's called the Canada Greg, but he lives in America. And I was going to wash that and use it again, but numpty Ewan, idiot, I went and put some Atanum hops in primary just because I had some left kicking around, about an ounce, and I thought, well, I wouldn't normally put it into primary, I'd put it in secondary, but what the hell? Let's just chuck it in. It'll add flavour, it'll be good. But I forgot I was going to be washing that yeast, and of course, when I go to siphon off all the beer, all the sediment is full of hops, and I just couldn't be arsed having to filter all the hops out, and yeah. I think the dog's getting a bit restless now. I hope you enjoyed the cooking video, by the way. Oh, and to all the naysayers out there, MSG isn't bad for you. Look it up. I know you've heard it's bad for you. Yeah, that's kind of like Mrs. Secuse, like, oh, MSG. But that's because she's heard MSG's bad for you. And all the manufacturers are going, no MSG included. Look it up on Wikipedia. There's never been any proven at all. Nothing ever has been proven that says MSG's bad for you. The people of China, yeah, you know those billion folk over there in Asia, they eat it every day. They're alright. There's loads of them. There's too many of them. They've got special laws that say you can only have one kid. There's that many. There's no problem with MSG, believe me. Okay. Right, it's time to go, baby. There's too much activity around here for a cool cat like me. I'm out of here. See you next week. Boom.